Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Marco, and this is Exploration Gaming. Recently, my friend Barb, who's a subscriber and an avid watcher of my live streams, was telling me about an incident where some randoms left her behind in a dungeon. They ran ahead and killed the final boss without her. She was screwed out of getting her undaunted reward box. I hate hearing stories like that about players being inconsiderate in our game. I can't cure batshit crazy or stop the sweaty boys from being asshats, but I can help you go faster. Do you feel the need?
I feel the need for speed.
If you're liking this vibe, please subscribe to help out this channel, or just lurk and keep watching because even that helps me out a little. So I'm going to show you some ways to run really fast today. Barry Allen fast. And you won't even have to use sprint and deplete your stamina pool. I'm not going to talk about upping your mount speed, although several of my suggestions will also help you on horseback. All that's for another video, and no one likes waiting 60 days to get your mount speed up, not when you can run fast today. First, let's go over some rules and facts and figures. I hate the stats of it all, but it's necessary to touch on some of them. The devs put certain metrics in place, and I want you to get the gist of it all. Like most good things in the Elder Scrolls Online, there's a cap on movement speed. It's 200%, which is substantial. Now imagine zooming around Craglorn harvesting Nirn like the Flash. We can reach that cap without much fuss, and there are a bunch of ways to get there. Here's the thing. A level 1 character just walking is going at 100% movement speed. If that character starts to sprint, sprint adds a 40% bonus. So now he's at 140% out of 200. Do you follow? This character I made for you guys, he's a wood elf, a nightblade, named Barry Flash. He's only level 11 and doesn't even have many of the buffs I'm going to speak about. Yet look how fast he goes. And notice the stamina bar never goes down. That's because he's running, not sprinting. Now, one of the easiest ways to be faster than the average knucklehead is to be an orc. I know, orcs are ugly, but they are fast due to their racial passive Swift Warrior, which increases sprint speed by 10%. Now, I don't love this alternative because sprint speed is different from movement speed, and we're attempting not to sprint very often. You can also get a boost from being a Bosmer, which is a wood elf for those not familiar with the term. We get Hunter's Eye as a passive, which increases movement speed by 5%. Now, my guy hasn't leveled up that much yet, but you get the idea. In many cases, going faster is just a matter of acquiring the expedition buff. Buffs in ESO come in two flavors, major or minor. The rule is you can't have, for instance, 2 major expedition buffs stacked up. But you can have 1 major and 1 minor expedition buff. So let's remember that for future reference. Major expedition grants you a 30% bonus to movement speed, and minor grants you 15%. Another quick way to gain speed, if you'll forgive the pun, is to use the steed mundus. The steed will increase movement speed by 10% and also add a health recovery. But most people don't want to give up their thief or their lover mundus. But the steed can give you actually 16% if all your armor is gold with divine traits slapped on. It's something to think about. Now, speed potions are also an option for gaining major expedition, but they don't last very long, and they seem like a waste of time to me. The Mythic Ring of the Wild Hunt is a favorite among many fast folks in Tamriel. Even some PvP builds use this. It grants a whopping 45% speed buff out of combat and a 15% speed buff while fighting. It also comes with the Swift trait. Now, Swift traits will add 7% movement speed on any jewelry when golded out. So the Mythic is actually giving you a 52% boost while out of combat. How fast is that? Well, it's hyperdrive fast. Now, two methods I highly do recommend to you folks are coming next. First, let's talk about the medium armor passive Athletics. This gives you a movement speed bonus of 3% per piece, which is why I like crafting Order's Wrath in medium. A 5-piece armor set is going to add a 15% bonus. And that makes a huge difference. The next method I highly recommend is using your champion points for speed. Steed's Blessing in the craft tree is a slottable star which will give you a 20% movement speed boost. In the fitness tree, Hasty is a passive star that can give you an extra 8% while sprinting. Not the one we want, but still. The winner in the fitness tree is Celerity, another slotted star that will grant you a 10% jump to movement speed. So, for example, let's say you're a wood elf, and you have Ring of the Wild Hunt, 5 pieces of medium armor, and both Steed's Blessing and Celerity slotted. That's 5 plus 52 plus 15 plus 20 plus 10. And that would put you at 202%, or 2% above the cap without doing anything else, and you never need to sprint to go to full speed. Now, if you happen to look at your character's advanced stats UI, I must warn you, it does not take into account Celerity, Steed's Blessing, or Ring of the Wild Hunt. Now, why doesn't it calculate in these buff givers, you're going to ask me? Well, because it's ZOS, that's why. It's one of the 492 things that they need to fix. Okay, a few more tidbits and we can wrap this video up. There are 3 armor sets which add speed buffs and might be worth mentioning. Adept Rider is a crafted set. It gives Major Expedition, or 30% at all times, and can be crafted in medium, which gives you an extra 15% speed buff, as I mentioned earlier. Jailbreaker is a dungeon set from the Banished Cells, which gives Minor Expedition, or 15% speed boost. It's a medium armor set as well. Now, most folks don't like using it. Fjord's Legacy is the last set I'll mention. It's a medium overland set from Eastmarch, which has stats that reduce the cost and add sprint speed by 15%. Also, not my favorite alternative because it's a sprint speed boost. Now finally, a bit of esoteric get-in-the-weeds ESO knowledge. Nightblades have the concealed weapon skill. This adds 25% movement speed while sneaking or invisible. Thus, it is still possible to be a Nightblade, especially a vampire Nightblade, and sneak at full speed. Maybe I'll show you guys that build in a future video. I'm setting up this character, Barry Flash, for that exactly. So until then, I hope you found some useful information here. Please give me your thoughts in the comment section below. I have a guild called Exploration Gamers on the PCNA server, and I'd love to have you join us. Much more is coming to this channel in the very near future. Thanks to all of you for helping it be a success. As always, I'm Marco. Be fast, be kind, and keep exploring.